friends, Editing Jessica here to talk to you about today's video, which is sponsored by Riverside FM. So this is a pre-recorded video. As you see, I have the lovely Elliot Brooks and Mara from Books Like Whoa in the thumbnail, and they joined me in this video, and I use a different platform this time. Riverside FM reached out, and I was really excited because I have used them one time before when I was a guest on someone's podcast, and so I was excited to try it for myself. So I like options. There are multiple different platforms and companies that you can use to stream, to pre-record videos, to host video kind of meetings, even record podcasts. And so I was really excited to try Riverside FM because, like I said, I had tried them before. Riverside is used by over 70,000 people for different YouTube videos, podcasts, including me because I'm a convert now. I am a fan. One of the biggest things I loved when recording with Riverside was how easy it was. Now, I am not someone who is necessarily tech smart, as y'all have heard me with my editing struggles, but it literally is really intuitive. I got on early before we did the recording. It was super simple. I knew where to go. Everything makes it just kind of easy to click and follow. You can even edit within the studio. You can create little like highlights for social media. So if you wanted to take a clip of your recording to put on Instagram, it makes it really easy to do that. And everyone's video and sound records separately on their computer. So when you hit record, everyone's recording, and then when you finish, everyone saves to their own computer, which results in better quality and better sound. While you're recording it, it may look like the typical laptop webcam kind of material, but then the finished product looks even better than when you were recording, which is amazing. And then their files, it's not like they have to do anything. They automatically upload to where I can receive them. So literally so simple. If you are interested in trying a new platform for streaming, because you can stream to YouTube or other platforms for pre-recording videos or even creating a podcast, which I myself was thinking about doing one day in the future, Riverside could be a really great option for you. And if you want to try it, I have a link in the description. If you want to click on that, so that lets them know that I sent you to support my channel, and you can try it because there is a free option. You can record up to 2 hours, but there is a paid option where you get, of course, more options. And if you want to do that, I do have a code for 15% off. If you just want to DM me, you can do that on Twitter or Instagram. Those are always linked down below, and I can give you that code if you want to upgrade to the paid service. But really, I think you all should try out Riverside FM. It is super dope, and like I said, super easy to use. So thank you so much to them for sponsoring today's video, but let's get into the tea, shall we? Hello. Hey, hi, hello, I should say, and welcome to a special episode of Book CommuniTEA, starring these lovely ladies. I have Elle from Elliot Brooks and Mara from Books Like Whoa here with me to discuss a fun topic, which apparently I've seen around, but these ladies really haven't. I mean, I just introduced you, but if you want to, you can introduce yourself again. And the topic. Anything else? Do you read books, ma'am, or do you do anything?
I read books and I talk about them. Mostly fantasy. I also run a collaborative channel called World Hoppers.
It's true. You also write books.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you.
Hype yourself up, ma'am. Come on.
You read them, you write them, you talk about them. You're just like,
you have a cute donkey.
Yeah. Sure. Oh, Luna's the cutest. She's around. She's in the back.
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't hardly ever go on Twitter or Reddit or anything like that, or Guru Gossip. I don't go on any of those things because I don't.
You're so
like
pure.
It. So I try, but as a result, Jess often is where I get my information on such topics.
Yeah.
Including this one. Actually, I don't know what questions you're going to ask, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
My nose is getting itchy. Doesn't that mean like you're anxious? Like the heat or whatever caused your nose to itch?
I don't know. I know, like, if your hand is itching, is it somebody talking about you or you're going to get money? Which one?
Oh, I like
the
money. Yeah, let's hope it's the money thing.
Okay, yeah, because my hand, but yeah. If
I've
so,
always
it's not
heard
true.
If your ears are ringing, someone's talking about you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that one.
Yeah.
My ears don't ring very often, so.
I have scar tissue in my ears, so if they're ringing, I just assume it's that.
I love it.
I'm Mara from Books Like Whoa. I read the books. I talk about them sometimes. I'm on World Hoppers. I don't run it, but I appear from time to time. And yeah, Jess is my source of
kitties.
Book news. Oh, I do. I have 2 very cute kitties who may wreak havoc while we're talking. Normally I go to Jess for the news, and tonight we get to be the news. So that's exciting.
I like that. Yes. Yeah. You're an elite group here. But so, as you can see in the title, Cliques on Booktube. And I'm sure some people have heard murmurings maybe of these of this issue, and I also don't go on Guru Gossip anymore because I must protect my mental, but I have seen it just before I joined Booktube, in some people's videos or in live streams. I have seen it on Reddit that there are some people who think that Booktube is judgmental, very high school like, and there's lots of cliques. And so I kind of just want to talk about it, like, is it a thing and is it a bad thing? So I guess my question to you ladies first off is, do you think that Booktube is cliquey? Are there cliques that you notice within the Booktube sphere?
Mara, do you want to answer first? Because I do have thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is. I think I'm like unpopular in the sense of, I think it's pretty natural. Like, I think it's human nature. We evolved to live in small communities and to be suspicious of outsiders. So, like, you know, I think we're all doing our best, but at the end of the day, like, you know, there is cliquishness. I think I'd be interested if you can give us a sense, Jess, of these comments, if it's a sense of like, that is pernicious in some way. I mean, like, I think it's natural for friend groups to form. I think if you're totally closed off to new people, you know, I think that's not necessarily great. Like, I stalked Jess into becoming my friend. And I got to be friends through other friends. So I don't know. I mean, like, I like meeting new people. It's part of why I do Booktube. So, like, I don't want to be totally closed off. But I mean, yeah, I think that there are friend groups that form. Like, you click with some people more than others. And yeah, I don't know. Those are kind of my opening thoughts. What do you think, Elle?
I think similarly that the concept of a clique, it sounds so negative, but, you know, you use the phrase just friend groups. And I think that is very natural. I think with the internet too, I am very open about how close I am with Joshana from, I think her channel is just called Joshana now. We live in the same state. We met through Booktube, but we live in the same state, which is part of how we were able to get to know each other even better. We're best friends. Basically, we've been friends for a very long time at this point. And then Mara, I remember Joshana met you and she's like, oh my gosh, I love Mara. And I was like, oh, she sounds cool. You know, and I feel like that's a lot of what happens is you get to be friends with someone, and then mutual friends occur. And then also when there's overlap in interest, as somebody who is a big fan of fantasy, a lot of people I end up chatting with are people who are reading similar things. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm only friends with the same people with the exact same taste, because a lot of my friends actually have slightly different tastes to me, but usually there's something that's connecting us beyond just we like books. It can be something a little more specific, which I think is pretty natural. A lot of your childhood, I'd say a lot of us experienced feeling like we didn't find our people, and it's hard to find people that have those similar interests. And then when you get older, you find your people, and YouTube sort of facilitates that, or at least I should say Booktube specifically facilitates that, because that specific interest is already presented and very clear. You don't have to be like, by the way, I like books, and someone else is like, well, me too. Like, we all like books. I think it can become negative when the sort of natural way in which people get to know each other, when that is out of the equation, and it's more so, how can this person benefit me? So I guess the social ladder climbing thing, if that comes into the equation, or if there's somebody who is a really big fan of something that's extremely popular and you want to get into that, but you don't actually want to do the work of reading it and sharing your love of it and things like that. You just kind of want to be like, I just want to pull this person in and then sort of get their fans or subscribers, whatever you want to call it. I want to pull that in and get that. That I think is where it can be a negative thing. And then you have kind of mentioned this, when people are very standoffish. I think that can be, of course, a negative. That's where maybe the judgmental stuff is coming in, and Jess, you'll elaborate more on that. But I think also, because Booktube is not most people's full-time job, it's just a hobby, you only have so much time. You have family, friends, people to take care of, people to be there for, and then your own life. So sometimes you just don't have the time to get to know everybody. There's a lot of people. So
yes.
I think sometimes it's unintentionally closed off, but I don't think people mean to be.
Yeah. I love that you brought in the social climbing and hierarchy. I was like, let me write that down. But some of the comments have been, and normally I feel like when I hear it or see it, it is in a negative connotation, not in like, I mean, I have heard some people be like, you'll find your group, or there'll be some people that you more align with, but more often I see like it as a judgmental thing, like these people are standoffish, or they only want to, they find these group of friends, whether that's all these larger creators that have let's say over 100K, and they don't, acknowledge the other smaller creators, or only these people who read certain things. And I've just seen like little petty comments. And I'm like, but I agree with what y'all are saying, that I think it's natural. Like we already on this interweb know too many people, know way too much about people. And so in a community like this, where, like you said, Elle, we already have the shared interest, I think it's just natural to even narrow down like your main group, even if, you do branch out here or there. So yeah, I feel the same. Like, I think it's natural. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I mean, there can be, but I've just seen more negative. And so I'm like, but is it a bad thing?
A little thing to add as well. I joke around when I'm planning out World Hoppers videos. I have like in my mind, like, oh, the UK crowd. Because I have some friends who are friends with each other, and they've actually had the opportunity to meet with each other and things. Where you live plays a big role too, even though the internet makes it so that you can connect. If you're on a totally different time zone, then that can be hard to connect. But there's other things beyond this. Like recently, my friend Roger, who has a newer channel, and he's been in World Hoppers. Both of you have filmed with Roger. It's quite hilarious. Yes. He's a big fan of video games.
2 cats. I was gonna say his 2 cats are named after drag queens, so I was in.
But he and I both play video games, and so now we all the time will message him like, you want to play Ghost? And then we just get our headsets in, and my husband, myself, and him play Ghost all the time. And Ghost of Tsushima, for any video game fans, probably, I don't know how many there are, but that's another thing, right? Like, that's another layer, is you find your book of people, and then, but anyway, so the ability,
the way that me and oh, sorry, go ahead. I totally
I was gonna
go ahead.
I was just gonna kind of like finish by saying how often you're able to communicate with certain people as well, I think impacts it.
Yeah, totally. Sorry, I like just 100% was like, you're done talking, let me jump in there. Sorry, that's a bad habit of it. No, I was gonna add of like, the way that me and Jess connect over our shared weird obsession with Mormonism. Now we like text each other all the time about like, did you
funny
watch
because
this?
Yes. I grew up in a very Mormon community.
The
majority of the people in my classes were Mormon.
Look, if you want to join this deep dive we're in,
we are in like
they had a
exploration.
My high school. I mean, I will say, I know you've been open, Mara, about growing up in a certain community that had a very similar mindset from person to person. And as you got older, you kind of look beyond that. And I think I was in the very religious community bubble as well for a lot of my life. And then, you grow out of that. And then you kind of reflect and things. But I mean, we had seminary buildings, or a seminary building on my high school campus. So the Mormon kids all made sure to take a hour or 0 hour, depending on where you're from, so that they could make sure to fit in seminary class. I mean, I grew up like that was normal in my mind.
I just watched a Self on the Shelf episode about that, about the impacts of seminary on Mormon youth.
there's so much content for me to consume out there. I'm like, can I become a Mormon tuber, but like a Nevermo tuber?
Yeah, like I feel like we should have I've never been Mormon. I barely know any Mormons in real life, but I am in deep, guys.
It's so interesting because I was like, it was everybody. There was one class when I was a freshman. It was biology, and I think myself and a girl named Sam, who was very nice. I think we were the only 2 kids out of like. Now, I went to a really big high school, so it was at least 35 or more. Most of my classes were 35 to like 40 something kids. We were the only 2 that weren't Mormon in the class. So,
oh my God.
So evolution must have been an interesting combo for that biology class.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
The teacher, I remember too, he was an older man, and you could tell that he just loved to make the kids like giggly and uncomfortable, because he would ask the boys like about feminine time of the month, and he's like, he'd like call on a boy student and ask them like, do you know what this is? And then the boy would be like, oh, and all the girls would be like, tee-hee and stuff. And yeah, it was fun.
Stay tuned.
But I will say, strangely, my English class, when we were reading, I think it was Of Mice and Men, and there was something like something was implied. And this one girl's like, I don't get it. And our teacher's like, and he was trying so hard to explain without being inappropriate. And he's like,
when a man and a woman,
her body, like he's like, we're moving on. And he's like, I'm done.
Hand. Well, stay tuned. Mara and I are going to make a separate channel where we talk about everything Mormon from our perspective of Nevermos.
Yeah, well, it'll be the Nevermo hot goss
or a podcast.
I gotta say, maybe the reason I'm so oblivious to the nature of cliques in Booktube is because growing up, that I felt very separated. Like all the kids I knew in elementary school, we all just were little kids, and as they got older, they had various things to do over the summer. They were in wards together. They had like certain camps they would go to. So the older you get, they have all these shared memories, and I felt outside of that. And so it definitely made me feel separated. And now I'm just like, oh, yay, you like Mistborn? Me too. Like, it feels very organic and natural. I don't know.
So with cliques, I feel like, okay, if you observe small groups, we'll say, or friend groups, if we go away from the word clique, because I think they're just I think that's just a like, I don't know a good word.
A negative.
Like just a negative connotation of friend
groups. People can be cliquey. Yeah, I mean, it exists. Like, I think there's a spectrum. Like, there's positive friend groups all the way to cliques. So
yeah, from what you've seen on Booktube with like friend groups or how people align themselves, do you feel like it's more based on subscriber count or like genre, interest, age range? Like, have you noticed anything like that?
It's a combination of things, and I think it depends on the person. It's hard to say. I think it depends on what I mentioned earlier. If it's an organic, you get to know someone, you connect with them. In that instance, it's more personality. But and I think the catalyst can be the genre that you read. But like Heather is a romance reader, and I think Heather's delightful. And we don't have a whole lot of overlap, but I enjoy talking to Heather. But I think that I don't want it to always seem negative. So for some people, they started around the same time, they got to know each other, and then if their channels all kind of grew around the same rate, it would make sense that now, let's say that was 5 years ago, they all kind of started and got to know each other as small creators. If they're larger creators, it's not that they only are friends with large creators, it's that they just all kind of got into it at the same time.
Yeah.
But I do think there are sadly instances where people will specifically seek out someone as a means to an end. That can happen.
Yeah.
It can be both directions. It can be somebody who is wanting to climb the social ladder and be associated up here, or it can be somebody who's like, I want to seem like everyone else, so let me talk to smaller creators, I guess, like
the plebes.
Like I was going to say, like peasants. Yes, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it can go both ways. And I have seen people sort of, I think, I don't want to say take advantage, because it's not like I'm in anybody's minds and can pick apart their like mustache twirling villainous, behavior or something. But I think that there are instances where people can be going about connecting with a person in the concept of networking. That's a nicer way to put it. Some people see it as like, oh, I have to network to grow my channel. And I don't think that's necessarily evil or bad, but I do think it makes it seem like the person you're talking to, it's less of a person and more as a resource to use to benefit yourself. And I, again, don't think that's necessarily a super negative thing, but it's not something I really like. I'm not about that.
Yeah, I mean, networking, Elle, I think is a great word. And I think that like if everybody's on the same page that that's kind of what's going on, I think it's probably fine. I think it gets a little ickier if only one side of the equation is looking at it that way and the other person thinks that there's like a more genuine connection. Like I think then it can get a little sadder. But yeah, I mean, like I think people just connect on different levels. Like, and I really am somebody who like I get a friend crush on someone and I'm like, I want them to be my friend. And so like if we have friends in common, I'm like, maybe we could do a live stream and like that's just how you get to know people.
Nudge, nudge.
I know. I mean, hey, girl, it worked with you. Here we are.
Look, like it was my honor. I was like, ah!
Yeah. Well, but then, you know, like Elle and I, we were saying we met kind of through friends, but then we have things in common too. Like we both read fantasy. We both lost our fathers while we were on Booktube. So like that's something that we've connected over on like a deeper level. You know, I mean, I think you just make real connections with people. My core Booktube friend group my original core Booktube friend group came from people who started their channels at the same time I did. Yeah. At this point, I'm the biggest of us in that original little group, but like, who cares? I mean, like, I don't, you know, and like, I think it's my delight to be able to share. It feels weird to say like my success or whatever, but like if I have a larger platform and I have friends who could get exposed to people, then like I'm happy to share what I enjoy about them, like, and what I have in common with them for other people who might enjoy their content too. But like, I don't know. And Elle, you may have better insight on this because actually both of you are bigger than me now. So.
Am I? I don't think so.
I don't know. Are we? I feel like I don't even know. But we're roughly the same size.
Make everybody uncomfortable.
No, I don't know. But Elle, let's put it this way. Elle is definitely way bigger than both of us. But like, I don't know if you feel this too, Elle, sometimes of like, it's enjoyable for me to bring friends on who have channels that are maybe smaller or maybe are still growing, and to give them a chance to like meet new people basically on the internet and like make more connections. Like I don't do that because they ask me to or because they expect that, but I enjoy, it's fun seeing your channel grow. And if I can help one of my friends have their channel grow, then that's fun for me.
Yeah. And just sharing, I mean, you're like, you're missing out. Check out this, because you know,
exactly.
You see the YouTube algorithm and that it doesn't always push. It rarely pushes, you know, smaller channels or newer channels. So you'd be like, looking for somebody new. I found a lot of people that way, of somebody like recommending or maybe collaborating with. And I'm like, oh, who is this? Let me go check them out.
Yeah.
I think for me, World Hoppers is the opportunity. Because at some point, because I did kind of have to decide, do I want to have long format videos just all the time on my channel, or do I want a separate space for that? And that's kind of why that's part of it. And also that way I could distinguish, and that the money made over there could go to charity, because that's another aspect of World Hoppers. But there's also the added, like, it's just fun to talk to your friends. I mean, I'm like, talk to your friends about things you enjoy can also make money for charity. I mean, it's kind of doesn't get better than that. But yeah, I mean, I also feel slightly uncomfortable, but I'm just going to go with it. The 2 times that I have had the chance to interview an author, I have wanted my friends to join so that they too could participate in that, because obviously everybody has varying levels of privilege in different areas of their lives. And for me, I've been very fortunate to have my channel do well. And so I know there are other people who I think are just as, or more so, you know, funny, creative, interesting video ideas, or they're really analytical. They can dive into a book. There's so many great things about so many different people, just have fun personalities. And for whatever reason, whether it's YouTube's algorithm, the mysterious mistress, whether it's
new merch,
it just never gets recommended, or maybe they don't always talk about the super popular books, whatever the case is, that their channel is not to where mine is, and therefore they don't have the same opportunities. If I can, like you said, kind of share that with other people. I mean, getting to interview Sanderson with Jess and then Jessie May, she's not here. It was more fun to be able to interview him, and also it created, I think, better conversation and discussion. And the same with when I got to interview Rosario Munda. I mean, Alan is somebody who has a lot of overlap with the things that Rosario Munda references in that series that, you know, I can't appreciate the same way. So for him, it was an opportunity. I mean, I think interviews quite a few authors, so like he could have probably interviewed him himself, but still, it's nice to kind of summarize what you said. It's nice to just be able to share opportunities. And isn't it better? I mean, don't you want to have experiences with other people? I don't want to do everything by myself.
Well, it's more fun. I mean, a big part of why I started Booktube was to make connections with people. So like when you have a chance to do that, like it's just fun. And it's also fun to share, like, both of you have people from your real life on your channel from time to time. And like, I get excited when I can cajole one of my real life people into doing things with me, because it's like, it is fun. It's like something different, especially if they don't do this all the time. Like it's a different kind of experience for them, and they get to see what my hobby is like, and people get to see how awesome people in my life are. Like my friend Kim is going to be doing, people loved her on my Am I the Asshole video.
And so we're gonna so funny.
We had a great time. Well, and she's a chaplain, and we went to grad school together, so we have a lot of the same like references, and so we're gonna start reading philosophy together. So that'll be fun. But anyway, it's fun to share.
Sean recently started reading some philosophy. He started with technically it's like Socrates, but through Plato, right? Socrates didn't actually write anything down. And then he was feeling very confident. And then he started Aristotle, and he's like, I have too much hubris. He's like, I don't know what this is saying. So now he's thinking about starting more modern and then working back instead of, because they recommend you start from there so that you know the references and stuff anyway. So
well, I'm sure the History of Ideas is good. And then there's a podcast called The History of Philosophy Without Any Gaps. That's really good.
Okay, I'll let him know.
But yeah, anyway, all that to say, yes. So she's going to start doing that with me when I'm about to be on vacation. So my best friend is going to be in my vlogs. Like, it's fun to bring people from your real life into your channel. So yes, of course, that also means it's fun to like do things with your bookish friends. And I don't know, it gives us a structured excuse to hang out, I feel like.
Yes. And as a person who I'm very introverted. In real life, I don't know if that comes across on YouTube. And I don't have as many, my friends that have known in real life are in different parts of the world. And so, ways to, especially lives and world hopper videos of like, you essentially were making content, but also having fun and hanging out at the same time, because obviously, the conversations go where they will. And
they go in some interesting direction. I'm just thinking about Roger asking, Roger being like, what do you secrete, glue?
Uh-oh.
That was pretty great. Oh.
If I don't watch him, he will chew the book. Like when he wants attention, he knows that if he goes back there to chew a book, I will be like,
wow. Silly kitty.
Mother, look at me.
Yes.
Oh, these animals.
So far, I gotta say, this conversation has just been like, Booktube's awesome, and you guys are great, and my friends are great.
But because I don't have that perception, and so I just was wanting to talk about it, and I feel like, Ashley from Bookish Rome was going to join us tonight, but she couldn't make it, and I know that from y'all, I don't know how long y'all have been. Everyone has been on Booktube longer than me. And so I know Ashley has been on Booktube
I think the longest of us. She's been
6
on
years?
for like, no, longer than that. I think she's been on for like 8.
Yeah. And so I was like, I feel like Ashley also would have added different in here. But Mara just said something and I was like, oh yeah. And then I forgot what I was going to ask. But I have heard that when people talk about being anxious to join Booktube or start a Booktube channel, that worried, obviously the normal worries about being on camera, whatever, editing, but also that they won't make friends, and then in that same conversations, people have been like, yeah, Booktube's not what you think it is. Like, everyone thinks you're going to make friends and it's going to be this welcoming place, and it's not. So I've also heard people kind of talk about it like that, like it's hard to come in and make friends. But do you think that's true? I feel like I've had a unique...
I think it's hard to find, to reference Shoshana again, we're very, very close. I know Mara talked about, how her and I have both lost our fathers since being on Booktube. And so Shoshana is the kind of person, like, she was my person that I would, when I needed to vent, I needed to be like, this freaking doctor, and just like all the things, that was my person. And if you're looking for that best friend level, like, you might not find it, because that's rare to find anyway. Yeah. That's hard to find at all. But
yeah,
I think that it's very easy to like make connections. And I say this as a fellow introverted person who's like, oh, thanks for inviting me. Like, because I'm always nervous to like reach out and talk to people. But if you see someone's reading something and you're reading it, just be like, oh, hey, I saw you reading this. I'm reading it too. Like, do you want a buddy read? And I will say, if you're reaching out to somebody who has like hundreds of thousands of subscribers, that they might just not see your message, which is why generally people who've started around the same time as you and have maybe more ability to get to their messages and stuff are likely to see. Doing tag videos, and then, Mara, you were talking about how you sort of like stalked Jess into friendship to put it in a interesting way. But yeah, I think people are surprised at how often somebody knows who you are, and then that you both know of each other, and you just gotta go for it. But I feel bad for the people, because I think everybody at some point has had maybe different expectations than what they get, or they've had negative experiences. But I don't know that I would write off Booktube entirely. If you've had nothing but negative experiences, I mean, I almost feel like I wish you could be here to explain and talk about what's happened, because it can happen. It can be a challenge. You can get people who you find out are saying things about you on Twitter or in their own Instagram stories, or talking trash or whatever, and that can happen, and you just kind of gotta either move on or, I guess, address it. I don't know. I don't look into that stuff. But I mean, it can be, because it is a smaller community than other corners of the internet, it can get kind of high school, to use a silly comparison. You're going to have that happen. Some people are going to have disagreements about things. I don't even want to bring anything up, because I don't want to encourage anybody to chime in and be like, well, in that one specific instance you referenced, this is the side I was on. Like, I don't want to, I feel bad. I want to be able to provide specifics, but at the same time, I don't want to bring in anything, you know what I mean? Let's just say Jess's right at dawn moment.
I wish, well, and obviously people watching love to hear any feedback. If you've, been hesitant to start a Booktube channel, or you have and have had these negative experiences, because, maybe it's something that people do, they don't realize. I don't want to do that. I try to be open. And also, I think it's also easier channel to channel and not channel to subscriber, and like channel to subscriber. I don't know if people necessarily feel like, that, but yeah, when you're smaller, the great thing is like, you start to recognize the same people in your comments. And like Elle said, you can get to all your messages, and it's like great to grow, but then you obviously, what comes with that is more just people, obviously comments, DMs, all that stuff. And you're like, I can't do it. I can't keep up.
Yeah, you can't keep up. And here's the unpopular feedback. Here's how you make friends on Booktube. You have to put in the work. And that's not a fun answer because a lot of people are introverted. I'm not, but a lot of people are very introverted, and like that might be hard to put yourself out there. But like, if you are new on Booktube, my recommendation is make your Booktube newbie tag and then go watch all the other Booktube newbie tags that have gone up in the last couple of months. Whoever you're vibing with, start watching their videos, start commenting, suggest a buddy read eventually once you've built up a rapport. Like, it takes time, and you have to put in the, like, literally, I have new neighbors, and I kept, like, we've, like, awkwardly waved at each other, but we haven't. And so I was in my driveway, and he was out in his yard, and I was like, I need to just introduce myself. It's literally been months. So I was like, hi. So, like, hi there. Like, I know we awkwardly look at each other every day, but I'm so-and-so, and who are you? And then like he immediately was just like, oh, I'm, whatever. And my wife is whoever. And we have a son. And like 5 minutes of just like, we just moved here. And like, basically the vibe was like, you seem nice. We would love to have dinner with you. But like, somebody had to break the ice kind of a thing.
Yeah, sometimes that's hard.
And I totally don't doubt that there have been times where people have put in that effort and then like, it hasn't gone anywhere, or you haven't found anyone that you clicked with, and that sucks. Like, that really does. But you won't know if you don't put yourself out there a little bit, or if you're, or when other people approach you that you're not, like, you have to be open to them reaching out to you.
I'll add how you go about it makes a difference, because there will be people that are, when they comment, you can tell they're just commenting in hopes that you will see them, because they'll be like, great vid, and you're just like, they leave that same comment all the time, and you're like, do you just copy paste that? Or people that are like constantly talking about their own channel in your comments, or their own, like if somebody's a writer being like, oh, in my book, and like they say those things. And if you're going about it like, notice me, because you want to, again, like the social climbing, that's, or at least it's going to come across that way. It won't come across like you are trying to make a genuine connection. It'll seem like you just want that person to see you, collab with you, and then you've collected your group for that, I'll say like subscriber count, and then you like go to the next tier and you do the same things. You go to the next tier and do the same things. And at some point, you're not going to build connections if that's your goal. But I mean, some people don't. It's strange because some people don't actually want to build connections. They really do just want to network. They want to make money off their channel. And so if you're reaching out to those people, and sometimes you can't tell, if you're reaching out to those people, like what you mentioned earlier, Mara, when people aren't on the same page as to what they're getting into. If two people, it's very clear, like, I'm going to be on your channel for this and you're going to be on mine, or whatever. Versus this person seems to like genuinely want to have a friendship, even if it's not super deep, but like a friendly acquaintanceship, I'll call it. And you just want to benefit off of people, then after a while, you are going to probably get burnt out on the effort, because it's going to seem like nobody's genuine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for anyone that's happened to.
That can be very frustrating. I feel like I got lucky with my Booktube experience, and, that I happen to make friends with people who were already established on the platform, even though there were a couple of people that I was talking with that made channels around the same time, but not all of them are still making videos or really even active on the interwebs. But yeah, I think it's, I have the core people that I talk to regularly, or like reach out to do lives with. But I think the great thing about something like World Hoppers is that I've been trying to, like, when I host a video, I'm like, oh, I heard of this person, or this person told me about this new channel, to try to widen my network there, if you will. But it's like, I don't know if y'all see it on Twitter. I don't know how people do it, but they have like, you can do something and look at your circles. So like, it's a picture and it'll have people like closest to you, I guess, that you interact with the most on Twitter. And then there's another circle and another circle. So it's like everybody can't be in the inner circle, but you can still have, you know, your little webs or your little, like, your reach out to someone who, you know, you might watch their videos and comment or stuff like that. I don't know. It's just like this notion that we can be this perfectly big, one happy family, everybody know everybody. I mean, it's just impossible. And
yeah,
I don't think that's a bad thing. Like,
no, I think it's about, so like, I love on a World Hoppers video when I get to meet new people. Like, I got to be on that video with Roger, and he and I, you know, interact some on Instagram now. I've been in a few videos now with Monet on different people's channels who I, you know, had seen but hadn't really interacted with, and she's awesome. We're both history nerds. So like, I try to keep myself open to like connecting with new people, but yeah, like you're always going to have a certain amount of space for the number of friendships you can keep truly active at any given time. And like, that's not going to be, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm going to get to meet Jess IRL soon, and that's exciting to me. But there's not, you know, like, I don't know that I would not put in that level of effort to try to make that happen with every single person I've met on Booktube, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, you know, obviously Jess is a queen and an icon, so like, I will put in the effort to bullying her into making our schedules overlap. But, you know, like, but it just, yeah. And that's true just in general in life. Like, that's something that I've learned in my nearly 35 years here on this planet, is that like friendships also just like ebb and flow throughout seasons of life. And I think that there can be a feeling of, you know, guilt, regret, negativity of some kind if like friendships grow distant over time. Yeah. And like, that's just so normal. Like, that's just a part of life. And like, it doesn't have to be a negative. I have a friend who I love and who I was in her wedding. Like, we were so close for probably 10 years and we barely talk, but she texted me the other day to ask me a question. I was like, oh, hey, how are you? Like, it doesn't have to be, I don't have to have judgment for myself of like, oh my gosh, I've let this friendship get distance. It's like, no, like that's just a part, like that's a part of the seasons of life, man. Like, you're closer to people at different times and you're further away, and life just a part of
is life. But sometimes you just, so for me at least, when, you know, sometimes when things get extra stressful, I'm like, I just can't handle all the socialization or whatever now. But yeah, I think ebb and flow, and even just, it would be weird if, to me, it would be weird if every single person you watched or encountered on Booktube or even in real life was your best friend, or like your, oh my God, I'm like, do you have enough time, enough space to know all those people? I don't, it's weird. But so, I'm trying to not be messy, but
I mean, please.
Well,
please. But, so I love a mess. And Marie Kondo, I love mess. Let's get messy.
So I may have seen some shade towards a group. So recently, I feel like there was a couple weekends ago that multiple like separate groups of bookish people met up in real life. And I'm just going to say I was salty because I'm jealous, because I'm like, I want to meet my Booktube friends. But one was a group of romance readers, kind of had their own retreat kind of thing, and like some other things. And I saw, you know, I don't know, some shade that way. I just don't understand why.
I mean, literally, I've been talking with Bethany about us trying to get something together in Tennessee, like for some of our friends. So like, if that's bad, then I guess I'm a part of it. So.
It's like, do you invite everybody? That just, you know, unless you were having maybe like, what was
a con?
Obviously, like BookNet Fest was like a big event, but like, your group, I wouldn't want to be like, hey, everyone who likes mess, let's meet up and, you know, block out the Hilton Hotel. I don't know.
The community con?
I think
community live.
I think it would be strange if, like, let's say, because, you know, Jess, you're coming back to the States soon. I know you're super excited.
You cannot wait.
obviously Sean and I both live in the same state. It would be kind of weird because we're friends. We have like a chat together. We talk a lot. But it'd be strange to be like, came to Arizona, you and Deshauna hang out for a few days. You go back and then I see like pictures on social media. I'd probably be like, hey, what's this about?
Don't tell Elle.
Yeah,
well, but then
sad, but
you know, like
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, Elle.
I was just gonna say that's different from like, let's say Deshauna was like, by the way, I was talking to Jess and I'm gonna go visit her. You know, like she's her own person, she has her own life. But it would be weird if you're like, you're a half hour away and we're all like really good friends. Why wasn't I invited? You know, like that could be weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think
I feel some type of way. Uh-oh.
Hold, please.
Yeah, that would be like, that'd be so shady. I would never. But yeah, if somebody did that, I'd be like, I thought you didn't call me.
But alternatively, if let's say Deshauna and I lived in the same city and you came to visit Deshauna, I wouldn't be offended if you didn't have time to also see me. Right?
Mm-hmm. I remember when I was, because I planned my Prego Pals trip, I called it, when Jade and Jessie were both pregnant. And I was like, I'm going to fly out. I'm going to buy your future baby a bunch of clothes and whatever. And I remember being like, I wonder if we should try to see Mara, because Jessie is in Tennessee, Mara's in Tennessee. And I think I even mentioned, I'm like, I'm going to Tennessee, but there just wasn't an opportunity.
Oh, that's right. Like, I totally, okay, here we go. I literally forgot that because I wouldn't expect, do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, hey, if you know, like if somebody who, I think especially then, because we were just getting to know each other, right? If it was when they were first pregnant. So, but I mean, like, I don't have an expectation that somebody who I'm still building a friendship with, like if they're prioritizing spending time, like in that, I don't know if any of that made sense, but like,
yeah,
I think it's also about like having reasonable expectations for people. Yeah. Like there's not, you know, there's not always room for everybody, and that doesn't have to be like necessarily exclusionary depending on how it's handled.
Yeah, because it's like if you knew Jessie for a while and then you just started talking to somebody, and just because you're in the same state, that, you know, of course you'd be like, oh yeah, it'd be cool to meet, but that shouldn't be like some obligation. But yeah.
I think
I don't know. I mean,
if you try to keep everything like a secret, then it's a little weird.
Yeah.
So
that is
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know what the mess is that you're talking about. But if, let's say, the person who was feeling some kind of way about it was friends with all of them and none of them mentioned it, I could get feeling a little like, hey, all right.
Like,
that could be weird, but I don't know I don't know all the details, so hopefully it wasn't bad.
Just, I mean, I was jelly just because I can't wait to do that. Like I think they had matching t-shirts, and I was like, yes. That's what we do in Nashville, 2023. What's up?
Listen. We're centrally located.
Or 2022, yes.
I'm just saying.
I will add, it was also sort of kind of the pandemic still when I visited
oh my gosh, friends. Like it's I feel like you're feeling like you need to, and literally it's fine because like they're like your best friends, like of course. Do you know what I mean? It's totally
You do not have
if you
to
were
explain
pregnant,
yourself.
maybe okay. I was only
I don't know how to tell you this.
At a time.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, like, also like we're all adults, and hopefully we can all just be like. Understanding that life, like there's like being adult, one of the most annoying part of having adult friends is that it always involves logistics. And sometimes those logistics just can't include everyone. And like, that's literally fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's a part of.
I think a good example, Jade, who doesn't really post much anymore, but Bedtime Bookworm is her channel name. So I've known Jade for years. And when I had everything happening with my dad, Jade, and she's been open about this, so I'm not revealing this personal information to everybody. She's got some videos. She had a miscarriage, and she was struggling to get pregnant, and so that's also a very personal, difficult thing. And her and I think are, well, I can say for myself, and I think this is true for a lot of introverts, sometimes you need to go into almost like hibernation to like get through something, and then you kind of come back out of it. Because I just need, even my own family members after my dad passed away were like, is she okay? I don't hear from her. And my mom would be like, you just gotta let her, she is fine. This is how she processes things. And so Jade and I every now and then would reach out, but there was also always an understanding of, pretty much every time we would send each other a message, it was like, I'm so sorry, it hasn't been a long time. And then the other person would be like, don't worry about it. I know it's been a lot for you. And then also the same would be for that person, like, oh, I'm sorry it took so long. And then it finally got to a point where like, we both understand that each other is going through something. And we also understand that we're there for each other, even if we can't always get back to each other right away. But I do think that a difference between that and like other types of friendships is there's some people that only want to be there for you when you're doing well. And I'm of the mindset, like, if you don't have the time for me when I'm not doing well, you don't get to have me when I'm at my best, I guess, you know, or my life is at its best. So if you only want to be around to feed off of my success, but you don't want anything to do with me when things aren't going well, like, I don't want that. I'm not saying you need to like be on, like, I'm not going to cry on your shoulder, right? I'm not saying you need to be that person, but if you literally have nothing to do with me when things are rough, I don't want you around when things are better.
Yeah.
So,
and I've actually had friends who are the opposite. It was like they fed off of being there for people when things were bad.
Ooh.
It was
people who like, I need to be needed, or like, I need to
very that
help. Yeah.
And it was a weird, because it's like, I appreciate that you're being here for me, but like sometimes I just want to like go get some coffee and like chat.
Yeah. You're like, and we don't have to talk about that. Yeah. Those.
Yeah. It was, yeah. But anyway, no, I totally agree, Elle. Like that's where it gets into the like weird social climby, I don't know.
The murky waters.
And it's fine if you're not friends like that. Like, you may not be friends like that to share everything that's going on, but it sucks if you think that's where y'all are at and then it turns out you're not. Like, that's not a nice feeling.
Yeah.
Not at all. But I was like, I mean, I guess the point of this whole video is that cliques or friend groups exist, but they're not necessarily a bad thing. Now, obviously, as a community, there's always mess. There's drama when people, you know, maybe don't get along or somebody calls somebody out. I don't know if I've ever witnessed it being like group versus group.
Like the Jets and the Sharks?
Yeah. It's literary fic booktube versus fantasy booktube. Dun, dun, dun. Like, I don't know if I've ever witnessed that, because when I've literally heard multiple people saying like it's very high schooly. I'm like, I guess if you mean you make friends,
life is very high school because
honestly.
I don't know. I
think
life is expect people to be messy. So like when people are messy, I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
because they're humans.
Things can get as messy as you invest yourself in the mess. You know?
Yeah.
Like
I
don't go around on Twitter throwing shade at people, or I don't like the common phrase that I think Mara, I'm gonna say you said it first, but like save it for the group chat. That's the thing. And some people don't. They just go around and they air their dirty laundry out for everybody. And then in that instance, it feels very gossipy, or it feels like this person's using their following to try to, you know, there's that aspect of it. But and another thing is everybody gets annoyed at petty, stupid stuff. And like, that's what you tell your friends about. You don't go you don't go like post about it. I don't know. Cause I'm like, of course it's human nature to be annoyed at petty, stupid things. And that's
the gossip. Yeah. It's natural.
And that's why we were blessed with screenshotting. And you're like, ugh, look at this. And especially your friends are the ones who can, you know, even if somebody else who's not really like your friend will be like, what's the deal? Your friends are like, exactly. They can get mad with you. Like, that is so wrong. I'm like, I know. That's right. But
and
yeah,
they're dead to me now.
Yeah. Get out of here.
Which is true. I am very guilty of like, if you cross one of my friends, you are dead to me. Like there's
Yeah.
I mean, you know, to be messy, there are a few people who are in the Booktube. They've crossed one of my friends, and people will be like, "Did you see that they did such and such?" And I'm like, "No, they're dead to me. I don't even know what they're doing."
Blocked.
Like, they're blocked. I don't pay any attention.
The hot goss chat.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't pay attention, and people will say like, "Oh, they did this," and I'm like, "Okay, well, they're dead to me." So all I know.
Sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm happier not knowing what's going on here. And then other people, though, will be like, did you see? I'm going to send you something. And then I'm like, I was just at peace. You know, I was watering my plants, spending time outside in the sunshine.
Really?
You had to remind me. You had to remind me about this.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, you know, I have strayed. Not like I don't keep up. Being on Twitter is just already gonna have you in some level of know if you're on Twitter and then just scrolling Twitter, literally just not even people you have to follow, because Twitter likes to show you something your follower liked or whatever, not even retweeted, just they liked it. And so that's how I see a lot of stuff. Like, I don't even go searching for it. It's just on my timeline. And of course, people send me stuff, but like now, who knows what they're saying on like stuff like Guru. I don't go there anymore. That it's not.
Can I just say, okay, from what I'm looking into your eyes, fellow YouTube creators, Jess, everyone, it is an act of self-harm to go on Guru Gossip.
Yes.
Do not do it.
Don't.
If somebody wants to tell you something somebody said about you on Guru Gossip, ask them not to. It is not good for your mental health.
No.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Thank you. This maybe sounds a little like I think that I don't know, hot stuff, not physically, but just like being talked about.
You are hot stuff.
No, on
physically,
like any kind of R fantasy type of thing. I don't want to go on just in the event that, especially if it's related to Booktube. I'm like, I don't, even if it's nice, I don't want to see, because I'm weirdly somebody who like kind of fell into doing YouTube full time, who doesn't really like social media. And I get so weirded out when I know that people are talking about me, even when it's nice. I'm just like, I don't want to know. It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's because I didn't even realize that Booktube had Guru Gossip until Bethany told me, and I was like, well, I mean, I love mess. I've got to go watch. I've got to go read this. And so I went, and like my name came. It was when I was still a lot smaller, and my name came up a couple of times, and just that feeling of like anticipatory, just like, and it was all nice. So I'm sure it's not now, but at the time it was all nice. But I realized in my mind, I was like, this is so unhealthy. Like this feeling of like putting so much emotion into what a literal anonymous, like who I have no idea who they are, is about to say about me is so unhealthy.
Actively sought out. I've never gone to Guru Gossip to look for my name, but one time it like showed up in a search and it wasn't positive, and it's just like one thing after the next, and I'm just like, okay, cool. I don't know. Yeah. It's always strange. I even get uncomfortable when I know, because sometimes people will send me something they found funny from Discord where someone's saying something about someone, and even that makes me uncomfortable because I'm like, even if it's a closed Discord group, it's like still somewhat public to some. Like there's usually more people in Discords than there are in like a 4-person group chat or something.
Yeah,
and
there's a difference between screenshotting your private chat and Discord. Yeah.
Anytime, anywhere I see people being talked about, even if I like kind of, you know, maybe the thing that person said was kind of funny, or maybe even I kind of agree with it, I don't on principle like anybody in any form of something public talking negatively about another person. It just makes me very uncomfortable. And maybe that's where people are coming from when they say it can feel high school, because here's the other thing. I don't go on Discord. I feel like Discord is the new Twitter of Booktube, because people talk a lot of trash on Discords. And I only know this because other people will send me screenshots from Discord, and I'm like, how is everybody cool with this? I don't understand why everybody is so okay with, I don't know, it makes me uncomfortable.
Save that for your group chat. That's because Discord is privately public or publicly private. It's like, it's not a fully private space. So like
more curated Reddits.
Yeah, it's like talk your shit in your group chat. Like, go off. I mean, literally, I think Elle alluded to, we literally have one that we titled Hot Goss. Like, I'm fine with that in a private group chat, but like any place where it's publicly consumable to some degree, it makes me really uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to see it. Like,
I think about, even when I don't love, this isn't even just a Booktube thing, just in general, even if unless they're like actively saying really hateful things, which is not usually the case, but even if I don't love how somebody conducts themselves or what they choose to say or talk about, even if I don't love that, I also recognize they're a human being with their own personal struggles, their own mental health struggles. And it is not helpful to anyone if they do happen to come across a whole group just hating them and making fun of them and mocking them. That's where I'm like, this is very uncomfortable. And it's weird to me that we've all kind of collectively decided that it's fine if like, but I don't really like this person, so it's fine. I'm like, is it though? Because we're at this weird crossroads of wanting to respect mental health, but then also wanting to vent. And it's like, I mean, sometimes you need to prioritize.
I only support this with terrible people like politicians and Elon Musk.
No, if you have enough money, like at that point, I'm like, you have enough money to live in a castle and never have to deal with another human being ever again. Yeah. So like, we can say what we'd like.
I'm letting it out.
Yeah, I'm still like sort of zeroing it in more on creators.
And also I think with the group chat, it's with the understood, you don't even have to say it, that this doesn't leave this. And, those people aren't going to screenshot. But in Discord, even though it is more of a private curated space, it's still public though. So anybody can just, especially if it's just something where like you could just join from your, like description or something, not like linked to a Patreon. And even to a Patreon is even more, it's still public. So yeah, those things, because I used to go.
I'm so sorry. I was going to say, the person you're talking about could very easily hear that they're being talked about because people are friends and they tell each other.
Or they could be in it.
I was going to say, they could just make an account and go on. And then suddenly, like, they see all of it. And you also want to be careful because it's funny. This starts so positive. Like, what are people even talking about? That could be negative. But if, like, okay, let's say there's somebody you just really dislike. And you're talking about them, you're talking trash or whatever, and you don't realize that person's in that, but from some kind of like anonymous thing, that person could like now have it out for you where they like kind of sort of find ways to get their audience on you. And I don't know, it can be messy. But again, I guess it comes back to what I was saying about like, it can be as messy as much as you want to be invested in the mess,
Yeah.
Just don't go near that stuff.
Just go look at it. Like,
don't partake
and send it to the group chat. But when I knew of guru gossip from like when I used to follow a lot of like fitness influencers, and I'm not gonna lie, I went on there and I'm like, that's what I thought. And then I don't know how I found the Booktube one and would read it occasionally. But yeah, when I started. And yeah, at first it was positive and it was like, oh, but even still that like anticipation, like you were talking about, Mara. And then it started as I grew to become negative. But I was almost like something I had to do, go do that. I would search my name on Twitter and I just found things. And after one day, something, and I don't know, it just really, I was like zeroing in on it for days. And I was like, I cannot continue to do this. And so even on like my phone, I just have the website like blocked. Like I can easily go like undo it. But if I were to try to go to it or click a link, like it's going to come up. And it's just that step. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to. I mean, I haven't tried that in months. And then I don't search my name for anything. I'm like, unless I'm directly tagged in it, it's sent to me. I'm not looking.
I even get nervous.
I don't even type my name into YouTube. Like I just...
If I go to link, like, let's say I talk about a certain book and I go to link a review, I go to my YouTube studio and I find it there and link it so I don't have to, like, see any potential, like, fill in the blank of whatever else might be there. Or I want to add really quick. I know. I remember somebody telling me they really liked going on Guru Gossip, which I was like, who likes it? But like as a creator, but then that made me think you're always looking at what other people think of you, and then you're catering to your audience, which then means you're not necessarily always presenting who you are. You're presenting the most likable. Here's the things that people want me to like. Here's the way people want me to behave, and it's why some people end up never being able to be truly themselves. But what's funny is because they're always looking at what the audience wants, the audience won't know because they think like they're getting, oh, this is exactly the kind of, wow, this person is like just like me and they love all the same things. Like, I wonder why.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know. It's difficult because I get that it is tempting to seek out what people are saying about you. That's human nature. Like we're all, and also we all have YouTube channels. We all have some level of an ego, like just by virtue of the fact that like we decided to like film ourselves and put it online. Do you know what I mean? So like I get it, but I also feel like I don't want people trash talking me in my comments, and I would rather give them the space to do that somewhere where I don't have to see it. And like let them do it there as opposed to in a place that's like clearly intended for me to see it. So I also feel like it's sort of I feel like Guru Gossip is to booktubers what Goodreads is to authors, which is, I don't know that it's great for you to look at it. And if you do, you're going to be tempted to respond. Yeah. And you really should not do that. So like probably risk. The best, like probably what you should do is just like not look at it.
Don't do it. Yeah. Because I will admit when I was first looking at Guru Gossip, I would see, when it wasn't about me, I would see other people talk about just like stuff they wish people would change. Like, oh, this person, why don't they edit out this? Why don't they do this? And I was like, okay, maybe if I see my name on here, I can learn what people don't want me to do. But yeah, it's just not like, sure, there may be something like, oh, your volume isn't high enough, I can't hear. Or, you know, maybe the lighting isn't great, I can't see you or the books. But other stuff is just like, I'm going to say like, I sometimes speak fast. I stumble over my words. It's just going to be like, if you try to keep every time someone said just one more thing, you're just going to be a robot, basically being like, hello, welcome to
Which is what
Booktube.
Some people, I think, don't realize they're implying, but it's like you're wanting to like, it's very objectifying of a creator of like, I want you to deliver me my content in the exact way I want it. And like, you are just a mechanism. You're just like a content creation like machine, and like you didn't produce
Don't
my burger of content correctly or whatever.
Sit up straight. Don't say this. Look this way. You're lowering your inflection. You're like,
okay. We can't all make it your way when there's too many people. You all want a different order.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's gonna have like the thing you
so we're gonna have
stand, somebody likes. Yeah.
I remember
we're gonna have Mara's way because that's the only thing I can make.
For a while, I have so many videos. Every now and then, I will do a video that ties in something to do with video games. Like, if you like this book, try this video game. And I had someone comment like, "I'm not here for video games," and I'm just like, "Well, then, don't click on this video."
You can watch the hundreds.
That's on you. Video games, the title. If you don't want to see this one time, anyway. So yeah, I feel like anyway, that's not anything to do with Cliques.
But it's just, I feel like I understand that more in the like hesitancy to come to Booktube or that judgmental. Like I feel like maybe viewers though can be more judgmental than
honestly
other
think
creators.
It's true. Like yeah. Now I do want to say, I'm gonna vague book here. Verbally subtweet here. I remember when I was first getting in, back when BookCon was more of a thing, or BEA, there were like numerous dust-ups around, I think, a more unkind version of having a friend group, because I knew people who were at those events and like there was some bad behavior that I would describe as very immature and very high schooly. from people who I think were probably old enough to know better. So like, I don't want to totally discount that there are instances of that, but I only got to go to one BookNet Fest, and it was incredibly welcoming. There was not like, I mean, I don't want to say we were all like perfect friends or whatever, but like there was not a vibe of like, my friend group is over here and your friend group is over there.
Just like,
and like, who are you? Why are you trying to sit with us? Like that was not the vibe at all. So I think I'm not discounting that there certainly probably are times where that does happen. But I wouldn't say that's been the plurality of my experience with other creators.
Where there was an instance where, and I don't want to say any specific names, but somebody I knew was really excited to go to an event, and two people that they were friends with were also going to that event. And they reached out to one of them and said like, oh, hey, I'm going too. It would be really fun to like get food together. And the person was like, well, I'm already getting food with them, so maybe like a different day, which was basically like you can't sit with us.
You can't sit with us, yeah.
And it's like, I remember just being like, no, like I was so mad on that person's behalf because I just thought that was ridiculous. But to be more on a positive note here, because we started overwhelmingly positive.
It's our negative, positive sandwich. We started positive, we got some negative, now we're doing positive again.
A positive thing. If I were to just never upload another video, I feel like I would still have a lot of the friends I have now. If that maybe is something like hopeful for people. And I still feel like I would be able to every now and then, like I feel more confident in being able to reach out and say like, oh, I love that book. Do you want to buddy read like the sequel when it comes out? Even if I stop making videos, I would still feel okay and comfortable, because I still I mentioned how Jade doesn't really upload as much. Jade has a whole bunch of things in her personal life, and it's just not something she can do right now. But her and I will still do reading sprints every other week. So she still and like she pops up on World Hoppers videos sometimes and like gets to chat with people. And like we all still consider her our friend. She's an in real life friend, and it has completely nothing to do with Booktube or who's friends with who or anything like that. So genuine friendships exist. It's just not everybody can be like what you said, Jess. You can't be best friends with everybody all the time. It's just a matter of understanding that people have like, not in a negative way, but like tiers of friendship. And sometimes it has to do with like proximity. Sometimes it has to do with like what you have going on in your life at that time. Just, that's the case. Even if Booktube didn't exist, there are people you're really close to, and then there's people that are like work acquaintances, and then neighbors, and like there's all these different pockets of friends in your life.
Because I had, before Booktube, I was on and I still am, Bookstagram, and I still have people that from the original time where I started that account, but some of those have morphed into people that I FaceTime with and talk or text on a regular basis. And some we just stick to DMing and occasionally are commenting on a post. Like, so it's just like not booked. It's going to be, if you're a book blogger, book talker, every little community is then going to have the little subsets. But I do think and then we've spoke about this, it is good to, though, at least be open to, meeting a new person or collaborating or, joining maybe like a readathon or something if someone invites you to it. Like, obviously, if you want to, don't do things you don't want to do, but just because maybe you have your established group, don't 100% close yourself off to meeting other people, because that could be a new friend or a new just who knows? You know what I'm saying? Who knows?
But I want to say, even if, sorry, I feel bad being like, as somebody with a somewhat sizable Booktube channel, but don't be afraid to reach out to people who have different, like I know we were talking about earlier, maybe the person won't see your message, but I remember Jessie May, who I adore, and I mentioned earlier, I've hung out with her in person. I flew out to see her. She she reached out to me to see if I wanted to buddy read a book for her little book club that she was doing, and she would do a live show. And I always am like, me? Like, I always get so excited. And then that was all because Jessie she didn't have this idea, because here's what I'm trying to say. Subscriber count does not change the fact that we're all just people. And I hate the way that people act like somebody is like so amazing for talking to like little booktubers. Oh my gosh, I hate that. And when they're like, they do so much for the community because like they did a live show with someone who only has like 5,000 subs, and you're like, good for them, I guess. Like, I don't know. I'm like, we're all just people. So just remember that. Just remember that everybody is just a person, and we're all excited to chat about books, or at least most of us.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that's a good final word, because I think that we're all people, and what that means is that we both have the capacity to be very like friendly and kind. And we also have the capacity to be judgmental and exclusionary. Like, that's just a part of the human experience.
Yes.
And sometimes the same person has moments of being both. Hopefully we're mostly able to err on the side of being like friendly and, kind. But like, yeah, I try to keep my expectations for all people. I think you're disappointed when you have unreasonable expectations.
Yes.
And like, so, yeah. That would be my
assuming you're going to be besties. Don't.
I'm amused because Roger, when we play video games, I've said before I'm very competitive, which surprises people. But Roger's like, people think you're all sorts of wholesome. If only they knew. Because I'll be like, turning this idiot, this moron, like while we're playing, just yelling.
Yeah. That's why I can't play with you. Just kidding.
No, once we Andrew to play,
I know.
Andrew in his place, and he'll be like,
I can't wait.
Friend in real life because he schooled me, and I will.
I do best with group games where we're all working together to accomplish something that like helps me channel my aggression towards the game and not my fellow players.
It is a group game. We play survival mode where you have to like hold areas together. And I will get very angry when, just in general, I'll be like, don't take my kill. Did you not see how long I was fighting this enemy? You just had to go throw your kunai at it. And I like get very angry.
I accidentally swore at one of my nieces the other day when she beat me at a game. My sister was not happy with me.
That's hilarious. How old is your niece?
I mean, she's 12. She's just turned 13.
She's fine.
I heard the word, whatever it was, I'm sure. Unless you called her like the C word or something.
No.
Hopefully not.
Yeah. She, we were playing spoons. There's a lot of adrenaline, and I'm not a perfect person, okay?
Yeah, we were playing one.
You sometimes have to admit your faults. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm not a perfect person, and sometimes I'm too competitive.
Sean, my husband, Roger, and I were playing, and there's always 4 people in survival, and the 4th person was just like terrible. And Sean was getting frustrated, and he had like been down, and you only have so much time to revive them. And so we're like, let's just leave. Let's just like let ourselves, because if all of you die, then you like lose, right? But you'll still get the experience points. And so I was like, we agreed, like, we'll all just die and then we'll move on, right? So I just was like, fine. And I like stopped and let them kill me. And then Roger's like, wait, I can revive everyone. And he revived everyone. I'm like, well, now I died. And I'm like, I thought we agreed. I was like getting all like up. And then I was getting like way too annoyed and frustrated. And I was like, I am a little genuinely annoyed right now.
Angry
Jess, next time you're feeling petty toward Andrew, when you're feeling petty towards Andrew, be like, so when are you going to play games with Elle? And then just watch him have his his confidence go out the window.
I told him. Recently he's been playing golf, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? What is this?
In real life? Or like
on a video game, which seems even worse.
That seems awful.
Yeah. I'm like, golf is boring in real life.
When I was a kid, Hot Shots was really fun. That video game, did you ever play that? It was pretty fun.
No, I'm terrible at video games.
Seen it I don't play many. I play The Sims.
I'm quite good at video games. So.
Yeah, that's why I'm intimidated to play with it. I don't want my feelings
hurt.
But
I would be nice to you. You would be fine. It's when people are like, because I mean, Roger and Sean are good enough that every now and then they control me, and I'm just like, Like, as an example, you can set up barrels and then you can make them explode and injure the enemies. And I had picked up a barrel, and over the headset, Sean was like, hey, Roger, she just took a barrel from your area. And Roger, I see his stupid character run around the corner and then, like, throw an explosive so the barrel blew up. And like, as my character was holding it, I was like, are you serious? So stuff like that. We'll troll each other. But you wouldn't know to do that, Jess. That's the thing. I would bring you under my wing.
No.
I would be like, what button do I push?
I'm like I'm terrible. I do want to play Roller Coaster Tycoon because my best friend started playing that and it seems fun.
Oh my god. I used to play that back in the day.
But it's only on PC and I have a Mac.
Oh.
So it's holding me back. But as soon as they make it available, it seems like it's Capitalism, but gamified.
Yep.
And that seems fun.
If only Capitalism was a game.
Oh my god. No truer words were spoken. Also, I love Defunctland, so I feel like it would let me channel some of my learnings from Defunctland into a game. Anyway, Cliques.
Have you played Anti-Monopoly?
No.
It's where one person tries to get monopolies and they can charge like a higher amount, and then the other person is free market and you have to charge a reasonable amount. It's like listed on the card, and it's
Is this the board game?
See, I was thinking that it was like you play normal Monopoly, but one person starts with everything and the rest of you are ganging up to try to break up their Monopoly.
One person tries to get monopolies and then they can charge so much more and you can't. Can you tell which one I played as?
Yeah.
I was not the monopolist and I was very frustrated. I still think about it. I'm like, I'm gonna have to
in my
again.
version, we would all band together and as the proletariat and overthrow our
I think it would be a lot more
overlords.
I think it would be more fun to play that with two people, with a total of three people, where one person's the monopolist and the other two are not, because they get a serious advantage pretty quickly. So anyway, it's a pretty fun board game, but it was frustrating.
So I think my takeaway is I don't think Elle and I should play games because I don't think that we have the right energy. I think we would walk away with hurt feelings. I would, I think.
Appreciate your niece, okay? So I wouldn't.
I do. I'm just saying. That's what I'm saying. I feel like I would walk away with hurt feelings because we would both be too competitive.
I feel like
it just wouldn't be a good scene.
But I married someone who's like that. So those are like, we love each other. He's my favorite person.
We love it.
It would make us stronger. Our bond.
It would bring her. Okay.
We'll play like categories or scattergories, something where it's like
we're gonna start light.
Yeah. Let's start with something easy breezy before we work our way up to spoons, which apparently is my trigger.
That you gotta put that one off way later. We'll have rooms for our meetup. No spoons.
No spoons. Lots of alcohol.
You guys will post pictures and I'll be like, why wasn't I invited? And you're like, well, Elle, you're too competitive.
We didn't want your negative energy, so
you'll be like, hey, can I come to you and Jess's game night? And I'll be like, actually, this is just our game night.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, we don't have time.
I'll be like, whatever. You just don't want me to beat all of you, I guess.
I guess.
And then I'm gonna tweet about it and be like, ugh, that Elliot Brooks. She's
you won't name her. You'll just like,
oh yeah, how dare I?
Yeah, don't name her.
Just figure it out.
Yeah.
I love it. What have we learned today?
Person.
Okay. You can make friends, keep it to the group chat, your pettiness, and
that's always the bottom line.
Be open to making friendships, but don't expect everyone to reciprocate your feelings. Because you know, there's a lot of people I watch and I'm like, I feel like we would be besties, but who knows in real life? You know, like I think that Chris Evans should be my husband, but maybe he doesn't think that. He doesn't know me yet to think that.
Okay.
I'm always like, Henry Cavill likes Witcher. I know he plays video games. He has a Nikita. Why are we not best friends?
Exactly.
Or like Trevor Noah. I'm like, I feel like we would get along. You're hilarious.
Also, if Chris is open to polyamory, so am I. Why have one?
You know what? In early societies, it was usually more like polyandrous than polygamy. It was more polyandrous, where polygamy, it was like one woman, multiple men. So you got to have multiple men out there doing shit for you and competing to give you babies.
I like how we started by being like, in summation, and now it's like
I just always have to express my feelings, and I think Dodger and Nigel could be best friends. So I just want to put that energy out there. But in summation, yes, cliques exist. They're not always bad. There's always going to be bad people, drama, petty, but you can make great connections on Booktube or any little subset of the internet that you join.
Make new friends,
be proactive.
but keep the old. One is silver, the other's gold.
And then if you have negative intentions, don't social climb. It's rude.
Yeah, don't do that. Only if you
don't use people.
If you're gonna gossip, keep it in the group chat so that nobody's friends get or nobody's.
And if you're a content creator, do not go on Guru Gossip. Don't Google yourself.
For real though.
And don't go on Guru Gossip. That's it. If you take anything from this video, please.
Yeah. And if somebody is mean to you, if a big Booktube creator is mean to you, let Jess know so that she can make a video about it.
Well, thank you, wonderful ladies. Hey, that's not right.
Tip line.
Send your anonymous.
Jess is going to get so many messages now.
Let me stop. No,
I was slighted by I don't know who.
Oh my god, I've been like. I was like, I wonder if people could anonymously send me mess. Not necessarily about creators, but it'd be like, Dear Abby, but Dear Jess.
Dear Jess.
What should I do? Just
this girl is a fugly slut. Do not trust her.
Oh, yes. Good time. See, this is what you can have. Enjoy Booktube. But thank you, lovely ladies, for joining me. I want to see y'all's comments or thoughts to any of the things we brought up in the discussion in the chat. Obviously, if you're not following LMR, I don't know what you're doing. And go and follow them. Also, Ashley at Bookish Realm. But
yes, we love you, Ashley. We missed you.
And baby girl. Oh.
And baby girl. I hope it feels
yes. So, I need you all to stay blessed, moisturized, hydrated, and sunscreen. I think I said that wrong, but it is 4:06 a.m., so excuse me.
I drank all my water while we were recording.
Yeah. See you in the next one. Bye. Again, a big thank you to Riverside FM for sponsoring today's video. Please check out the link in my description to give it a try because there is a free version. And if you like it and want to upgrade to a paid version, DM me on Instagram or Twitter, which are linked down below, and I can give you a discount code for 15% off. But I'll catch you on my next one. Bye.